Here we go again.
Cute and canny, more than just one out of many.
Good morning, lovely viewers. I am not going to call you easily offended millennials in this video because this video is about not caring about who you offend.
Alright then we should be pretty good then. No offending, nothing at all. Just get straight to the point, educational, everything's a reasonable response. Alright.
Just by being you. A lot of people try to tell me that my gender is not real or I'm not really trans, whatever that means.
Now when somebody says you're not really trans, at least for me, I think if you're actually trans, you will seek out transitioning. So since you're a female, from birth, if you want to transition into a male, which I'm assuming that you're female to male, you will start taking testosterone. You'll get your breast removed. Not necessarily removed, but downsized or whatever. I don't really know how it works for female to male, but I know how it works for male to female. You'll transition. You'll actually be trans. Don't sit there and say you're not trans. It's just not a reasonable response to saying, oh, I am trans, but I'm not going to transition. It doesn't make any sense.
Because of how I dress, albeit fairly androgynous and very cute. And because of how I identify myself and how I express my gender. But let me tell you, people who try to tell you that you being you is wrong do not know what they're talking about.
Now, although I agree with this to an extent, you being you should never be an issue. That should never ever be an issue. You be you, but don't sit there and get mad when somebody messes up. Don't sit there and get mad if somebody accidentally messes up your identity. But this whole gender identity thing is just a crazy mess, and you'll see why later in the video. It actually starts getting pretty bad.
Some people think that transgenderism enforces gender stereotypes. When I see people saying you have to dress this way or behave this way to be trans, I see that as enforcing gender stereotypes.
Let's break out the dictionary, shall we? So if we look at the dictionary definition of not gender stereotypes, just stereotypes in general, as you can see, we got number one, a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing. It says nothing about clothing. It says nothing about gender. Gender is not a person. It is a thing, and it is a anatomical thing. So you're born a female or you're born a male, but luckily science has improved to where we can actually transition between male and female. Nothing about stereotypes has anything to do with gender.
That's why it's completely okay to express yourself and be yourself however that means to you.
No, it's not. It's not okay to completely be yourself. If you be yourself, it's just going to be chaos. It's not going to have any... The world's not going to have any structure. There's a reason why we have structures in place. And to sit there and say, be yourself, yes, to an extent, yes, be yourself. But if you're just so out there, nobody's going to like you. And nobody's going to like the way how you act. Everybody's different, yes, but we have social structures in place just out of respect, you know? But to sit there and act like the world's against you because you're yourself, partially is because you're just being obnoxious.
There is no right or wrong way to experience a gender. That is because we all experience gender in a different way, even though we may use similar or the same labels.
No, there are only two genders, and luckily, science, like I said earlier, has progressed enough so we can transition between those two genders. To sit there and say that we all experience gender differently is just like saying we all experience life differently. We have our genders, that's how it is. It's science. It's fact. But if you're confused about your gender, that's puberty. Like it's a common thing with these people from Tumblr, these social justice warriors, that during puberty everybody goes through a confusing state, and especially nowadays when we have trans people. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but people are like, wait, am I trans or not, or am I gay or not, or am I bisexual or not, or am I straight? It's a common trend that we go through these different feelings. It's not a bad thing, but to sit there and say we all go through different things or different genders is just wrong, plain out wrong, and it shouldn't be happening.
What we perceive each gender to be is entirely based off of what culture we're raised in, what male or female or gender non-conforming figures we have in our lives and our interactions with them, and the way we're made as people. We are all just trying to figure out our own experience within this social construct.
Breaking out the old dictionary again, social construct, a social mechanism, phenomena, or category created and developed by society, a perception of an individual, group, or idea that is constructed through cultural or social practice. Now, the key points here is that it's constructed. Gender has never been constructed, it has always been, even through evolution. Even in the animal kingdom, they still have gender. It's not a social construct. It is merely science and biology. To sit there and say that there is no social or that gender is a social construct is just saying that science is wrong and doesn't exist. I don't understand these people. Why we're taught from childhood that science is correct, and it technically is because it makes sense. Everything about science makes sense, or most of everything. Some stuff we still can't explain, and they're just shoving it out the door like, no, I don't believe it, I don't want to believe it. It's immature and irrational.
Even if you are not super androgynous or a big gender confusion, you should enjoy wearing the clothes that you do choose to wear. And
alright, I think I figured out what they mean by gender stereotypes or transitioning. What at least most of these SJWs don't seem to understand is that clothes are tailored to certain genders for a reason. Like women's skinny pants. They're specifically designed to fit around the butt, around the legs, around the crotch area for a reason. They're tailored to women's to be more comfortable. It's same thing with men's shorts or whatever. Yes, we get the most basic because or men's jeans. We have bigger pockets, we have a bigger crotch area because of our penis and balls. But to say that gender is just a stereotype because we have set clothings, doesn't mean you still can't wear them. It's just going to be more comfortable or more uncomfortable, and some people might find you weird for that. That's not much of a big deal if you're still being yourself and don't mind people thinking you're weird for that. It's your personal choice. That's what being free is about, right? I'm about to stop doing this because this is just awful.
Enjoy the expression that you think fits you best. Just as there is no right way to express a gender, there is no right way to be trans, nor any right way to transition. I socially transition by telling people my preferred name and pronouns. I may choose to physically transition in the future, but my transition is not invalid because it does not include a physical aspect.
Everything about gender is physical. Yes, trans people mentally feel as though they are born male or female, depending on what they were born as. Now that is okay, and they will transition and make it physical and make it more comfortable to them for their body. I don't see what you're not understanding. Gender isn't made up; it's a real thing. Science has proved it.
There's nothing wrong with not even wanting to transition. You can stay in the closet your entire life or continue to go by your preferred name and preferred pronouns and not physically change your body and still be trans. The world is a harsh world for trans people, so it's understandable why you may not want to change anything about yourself.
Blair, why don't you tell us if trans people have it so bad?
I like how these people always put down Western society as if there's a better society. Like, I'm pretty sure in Russia, I'd get chased down by Putin's mob. In the Middle East, I'd get thrown off a building. And in Africa, I'd straight up just get murdered on sight. So, where is this? You're pretty damn lucky to live here, girl.
So basically, she's rambling on about gender and all of that. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. What she's saying right now doesn't matter. If you really want, I'll link the video down in the description below. Hit that subscribe button, be much appreciated. I love making these videos. If you want, check out some of my other videos. I will put annotations up on the screen in the bottom left and right corner. So I'll see you guys next time.